What's up everyone, your boy Roshi here, and today I'm going to be talking about why the episodic formula for the Final Fantasy remake can possibly be problematic. Let me just preface this by saying that I am a Final Fantasy fan. Final Fantasy X was the first that I had the pleasure of experiencing as a kid, and it forever changed the way that I view video games as a storytelling medium. I never got around to playing VII, blasphemy, I know, but when the remake was announced back in 2015, I was excited that I would finally have the opportunity to dig in and experience this classic. At the time, it was announced that it would be an episodic release, which was unique and a bit strange, but I was fine with it. Then Square Enix went dark on the game for 4 years. Fast forward to 2019 and the remake has re-emerged with a new coat of paint. Not much extra footage has been revealed in this latest trailer, but we can now expect more news come June. Oh yeah, and it's still going to be an episodic game. Things have changed since 2015 in my opinions of the episodic formula as well. So let's go ahead and address the major elephant in the room. Back when it was first announced, it's safe to say we assumed this was the approach so they could feed the machine and get us the game in a timely manner. It's been 4 years with no news, no first episode, yet this is still the model they're choosing to follow. Let's talk about why this is problematic and potentially a disaster waiting to happen. So first, Square Enix needs to clarify how this model will work. They claim each episode will have a full game's worth of content, but by today's standards, just exactly what a full game's worth of content is can be questionable. Does this mean the game will be episodic, the same vein as Final Fantasy 13, where we got 13.2 and 13.3 after as separate games? Or is it episodic in the way of a Telltale game? Or episodic like the nightmare that was Final Fantasy 15, where the main narrative was a soulless hollow shell they then filled in with paid DLC episodes which delivered the narrative we initially paid money for. Also, how many episodes will it be? These are important questions that will give insight into how much money fans can expect to shell out to get the full story. And the way things are going, it seems like the whole experience will cost a pretty penny. In addition to cost, we also have to consider time frame. Just how long are we going to have to wait in between episodes? If they claim each game is a full game's worth of content, does this mean we will be waiting around 1 to 2 years for each to be delivered? If so, that is a horrible experience in my opinion. Playing a game with an already established definitive beginning, middle, and end where the narrative flow is interrupted by a cliffhanger can be jarring. Not to mention the mystery of when the next piece of the story will be delivered, especially when you are already financially invested. A long time gap in between games can cause people to lose interest and get annoyed. One other thing to remember about timing of this is that we are at the end of the PS4 cycle. Without episode 1 on the horizon, does this mean the future installments will be developed exclusively for the PS5? This could potentially segment the player base if players don't upgrade. While on the topic of development, Square Enix will have to keep the game mechanics consistent across all episodes to prevent a disjointed experience. Now in Final Fantasy 13 trilogy, each game implemented different mechanics, and that was fine, since each game was its own contained story. In this case, however, all episodes are a part of one game, telling a singular story. Taking this into consideration, no one wants to have to learn new mechanics each time they play a new segment. Not to mention, people do replay RPGs, so switching up the mechanics can really ruin the flow once it's all said and done. One last point I want to make is that if we use history as our teacher, once all the episodes are complete, Square will no doubt release it as one complete game for one reasonable price. Again, here I will go back to the awful handling of Final Fantasy 15. After all the first adopter fans like myself were sold a skeleton narrative and incomplete mechanics, Square added the ability to control your team, control the car, and filled in the story gaps how it should have been delivered and released it as one complete version, the game it should have been at launch. Why shouldn't the fans just wait for the completed product? Obviously the downside to this being Square canceling development due to a lack of interest, when in reality it's just consumers being cautious. And let's be honest, operating on the side of caution is the wise thing to do as a gamer these days, especially in a position where you may be shelling out $60 a piece for 3 possible installments of one single game, essentially funding it while it's being developed, unsure if your wallet is going to hate you in the long run. Part of me wants to believe that Square won't screw this up since this is their most precious property, but then I'm reminded of both 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3, which was also a gross mishandling of a popular franchise, completely heartless, pun intended, and chock full of filler until the final 3 hours of gameplay. I guess we are just going to have to wait and see what news awaits us in June. But how do you guys feel about this Final Fantasy VII Remake? Are you guys excited about the news? Are you guys worried about the episodic formula? Is it not really a big deal to you? I definitely want to hear from all of you guys. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Follow on all my socials at your boy Roshi, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Check out the merch store. The link to that is down below. And consider becoming a patron if you would. I'd appreciate it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you have a great day, and I'll catch you guys next time.